sorry for that. I had to take some footage off the camera. Seems I filled up the memory, and I need to record the full presentation to be graded. So now we can continue. As I was saying, medicinal marijuana is medicinalized in around 13 states, and many of these states are out west, though there are a few on the East Coast, some close to us. And the way it works in a state that supports medicinal marijuana, a physician or doctor will recommend a patient, perhaps write them a letter with their signature attached, recommending them to try cannabis, and that patient will go purchase a cannabis card or a medicinal cannabis card. From there, they can go to local dispensaries and directly purchase the marijuana over the counter legally. This is an example of the states that have medicinalized it, and other laws including decriminalization, and basically how harsh that state is on users. Now, medicinal marijuana has many positive effects on different diseases, and it has been proven through many studies. In 1998, an IOM report included that there is scientific evidence for the medicinal use of cannabis, and that includes analgesic, appetite is an appetite stimulant, as I discussed earlier, glaucoma, which involves eyes and pressure buildup, and cannabis, though it does create red, dry eyes, it actually alleviates the pain that someone who suffers from glaucoma has. One of the big things that many don't know about is tumor suppression, and there's actually research from the American Association that studies cancer and is trying to treat it. They looked at the effects of marijuana on tumors, and to their surprise, rather than creating lung cancer, which many think it does, it suppressed cancer growth by 50%. And that is truly something for patients who unfortunately have cancer. But if it's able to stunt the growth at that much of a level, it's definitely something to be looked more into. Now, I did talk about how to administer THC, and I didn't really talk about, though, the different effects of administration and health effects. Statistics show that smoking cannabis directly could produce negative effects on the lungs, because you're inhaling heated plant matter, and regardless of what plant that is, it's never healthy. Even tobacco, which I won't even go there because we all know how bad cigarettes are for you, and how proven it is that that does cause lung cancer, though there hasn't been a single case directly linking marijuana to lung cancer. So when combusting, a patient might want to filter the smoke through water or carbon filter through different means. That way it just separates the plant matter and unnecessary things to be inhaled from what they are actually looking to get. Now, when smoked, they also get all the toxins still, even if filtered through water. And by toxins, I mean the cannabinoids, because they can produce negative mental effects, including drowsiness and laziness. Vaporizers, it releases the active ingredient THC, like I said, and it is also the most healthy way to take in THC, because it's vaporized and it's not an actual harmful smoke. Vapor doesn't cause harm to the lungs. There's actually a study that shows it might actually stimulate the lungs, but there's more looking into that. And vaporizing does take a little bit longer for the lungs to absorb, but it's the most healthiest way. Excuse me. Also, out in Europe and Western Europe specifically, there's a product known as Sativex or Sativex, and that's basically, it's a bottle of spray and it's liquid THC, and a patient will spray under their tongue or in their mouth, and eventually it will produce the effects of cannabis because it uses THC, and it's actually legal there to use. Now, it all comes down to convincing. Many people don't like to believe that there is medicinal value to cannabis, but it's usually because they haven't looked into all the research that's been done that proves it, and they haven't heard from the patients that use it. One of the more popular diseases that cannabis is known to treat is multiple sclerosis, and I actually watched, it's almost a heartbreaking interview of someone that suffers from severe multiple sclerosis to the point where they can't keep still, and it causes anxiety after that, especially when they were being interviewed. And then, because they were a medicinal patient, they were able to take in some cannabis, and the difference was night and day, before and after he took it. And he said himself that there's no other medication out there that can produce similar effects for him, to make him as comfortable as he is, no matter the negative position life has put him in. And you can be anti-drug and pro-medicinalization, because medicinal marijuana isn't being viewed as the illegal drug that it is in America. It's looking at the plant itself for all it could do for the health industry, though pharmaceutical industry doesn't want to admit that a natural growing plant can be so healthy and produce such good effects compared to what their pills and other drugs can do. It's worth performing more research into. It's a harmless drug, so says much research, and if the medicinal effects are what studies are starting to begin to say they are, it's worth the government and many scientists to look into. It could eventually be used more efficiently in treating patients, and I know many patients would be greatly thankful for that. Thank you for listening to my presentation on medicinal cannabis. I hope I changed some of your opinions on it, and if I haven't, then please at least look online further into the topic, because it's really mind-opening as to what it can actually perform. So, thank you for listening.